Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Jai Ram, Rama, Sing, Jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya Naranchaiva narotamam Devam Sarasatim Vyasam To Jayamudhirai Nashta Prayasha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Pura Pitano Bhagavan Daksho Dohita Vatsalaha Kamrinita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprichata Naha Pritak. Pura Pitano Bhagavan Daksho Dohitra Vatsalaha Kamrinita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprichata Naha Pritak. Pura Pitano Bhagavan Daksho Dohitra Vatsalaha Kamrinita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprichata Naha Pritak. Pura Pitano Bhagavan Daksho Dohita Vatsalaha Kamrinita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprichata Naha Pritak.
Puratano Bhagavan Daksho Duhitar Vatsala Kamrinita Varamvatsa Iti Apichitanapita.
Pura. Okay, anybody else wants to chant?
Yes, Prabhu. Pura pitano Bhagavan Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Kamrunita Varam Vatsa Iti Apruchata Na Pratak. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
That's very nice.
Krishna Prabhuji. Pura pitano Bhagavan Daksho Duhitir Vatsa Kamranita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprachatana Pratak. Hare Krishna.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pura Pitano Bhagavan Daksho Duhitra Vatsalaha Kamranita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprachatana Pratak. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Pura. In the days long ago, Pita, Father, Naha, our Bhagavan, the most opulent, Dakshaha, Daksha, Duhitra Vatsalaha, affectionate to his daughters. Come unto whom, Pranita, you want to accept. Varam, your husband. Vatsaha, oh my children. Iti, thus. Aprichata, inquire. Naha, us. Prithak, separately. In the days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked each one of us separately whom we'd prefer to select as our husband. In the days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked each of us separately whom we would prefer to select as our husband. Yes, Supriya Maddi, want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Purport. It appears from this verse that free selection of a husband was allowed by the father, but not by free association. The daughters were asked separately to submit their selection of a husband who was famous for his acts and personality. The ultimate selection depended on the choice of the father. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Vimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashat Deshtanye Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram. Purapita no Bhagavan Daksho Dohitra Vasalaha Kamrinita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprichata Nahapritha. In the days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, was affectionate to his daughters, asked each one of us separately whom we'd prefer to select as our husband. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada in the purport something speaks about free association. We notice that in the Bhagavatam, various places, when Krishna came to Mathura, we see that the Brahmanas came on the road to receive him, and they did arti on the road. They had privilege to see Krishna face to face, and they worship Krishna, just like the Rath Yatra time also it happens. Jagannath Rath Yatra, people worship. They come in front of the Rath Yatra and they do the arti. The Lord is there. Similarly, when Krishna was walking on the streets of Mathura, we read in Krishna book, the Brahmins came out to worship him in the streets. Perfect. But also it mentions something very interesting. The ladies were not there. Ladies were in the top of the houses. And they were looking at Krishna from there. And they said, we have heard about Krishna from the gopis or from the message from the... So wonderful. And many of them fainted seeing the beauty of Krishna. Similarly, we have very nice in the Bhagavatam a narration about when Krishna was leaving Hastinapur and he was going to Dwaraka. At that time, there was a glorification of Krishna on the ground. There was a glorification of Krishna on the, Queen Kunti offered the beautiful prayers, and it was beautiful glorification of Krishna. And on the rooftops, again, you notice the ladies were there. And from there, they were discussing about Krishna. And the Krishna book mentions that this talk about Krishna that they were doing was more pleasing to Krishna than what the prayers being offered by the saints. So even though we see there is some kind of separation between men and women, but there was no, it was not affecting the spiritual life at all. We even 500 years ago, when we read about Prataprudra, the king, his wives wanted to see Krishna, and they were seeing from the top of the elephants, kept at distance. Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had many disciples, many followers. Many were women, but they will always keep some distance from him. Even now, Srila Prabhupada, you notice, you see the photographs of Srila Prabhupada's devotee, always keeping some distance. But today, this is quite, will be some quite very strange thing. I remember when I was teaching in Manipal. So there was a long time when I landed here, 2002. I used to go to the colleges because somehow I thought that is my service. Anyway, I did not know Kannada, so I can't talk to the local public. Somewhere I have to spend time. So I went all the way. And there was the dean of Manipal College, very pious person. Later his daughter became well known to us. Very, very pious person. So I met him. And I told that, can you arrange? I like to address your students. He said, really, why don't you address? We have this fourth year boys making so much noise. I'll organize. So he organized on the top of the library. Today, now the campus is very much well built. It's called library auditorium. On the type of library, there was the auditorium. And I had to address boys and girls were sitting final year. And as education of today, unteachable. Unteachable, you cannot teach. I don't think any college they are teachable. They're also distracted about career and other thing. And also 4 years they learn enough bad habits. The result of that is visible. You cannot teach. You go to first year. I used to teach in first year many times. It is so sweet. They're so innocent. And they hear from the heart. Final year, they have learned practically. Sri Radha Govinda Temple. Everybody has learned. All the boys have learned drinking. Minimum. That's the minimum. Then meat eating, womanizing. So it's unteachable audience. So the college wanted me to speak to them. So I said, what do you want? So talk about mind control. You're not able to concentrate on our studies. So as a Chanakya Pandit said, Matarivat Paradareshu. The moment you see a woman, you should give her respect like a mother, except your own wife. So when I said this, all the boys, the eyes were red with anger, and some girls started crying. I was quite surprised. I just repeated what Chanakya said. Such a reaction, because almost all were sitting in pairs already. So then I remember I had a center near the college, and the boys and girls used to come to my center. So I used to give them some projects. Somehow it dawned on me, teaching values means more participation. So I said they should present. So that way I could talk freely about Krishna consciousness, because class, to some extent, to a large extent, we are restricted. We can't speak fully because an official class in the college. There's a trick of teaching in colleges. So I used to give them a project. So they'll come to me to discuss the presentation. At that time, I will speak full. That I am not restricted. I will speak Krishna conscious to them. So that is how we taught for many years. So now when they were in my place, they were discussing something. So boys and girls both are there. So at that time I said, actually, in a Vedic culture, free mixing of boys and girls is a symptom of degradation of civilization. Do you agree? All the girls said, no, we don't disagree. We don't agree. We just don't agree. It's so difficult. So, in fact, when Srila Prabhupada landed in America, he openly said is a great malady, social malady in your country. This free mixing and boys and girls. Now let us understand that more with some Bhagavatam. There is a king called, throat is still recovering. I'm not sick now, but maybe something is still, maybe I need to do more steam. So there was a king called Yayati. And there is Devayani. Now the Devayani was daughter of Shukracharya. And she was with a friend, and I included one more, Sarmishta. I think the name is Sarmishta. So what happened was, when Devayani was with her friends, and they were taking bath and having nice time in a pond. No school, like college like today. Everybody is happy. So Yayati happened to pass by. So if I do modern calculation, by that time calculation, most of the people are actually wasting their time in school and college. Not everybody needs education. I myself, now you tell me now, I'm not using 1 second of my education. Waste, totally waste. You do a survey in the society, 99% people do not use 1 second of their education. Isn't it a waste of time? For somebody who wants to be used, you give it. Why everybody? Why waste their time? So-called funny degrees and people's time is wasted. So anyway, so no school, college, they're nicely enjoying. He has in a pond, enjoying life. And then passes by is Yayati, the king. No, first thing passed by is Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva passed by because people are pious. Devatas used to visit the earth, not like today. No Devatas come because all polluted, no yagnas, nothing. So they saw Lord Shiva passing by on his bull Nandi. And immediately the girls felt shy as usual. They were not dressed. So they dressed themselves. So in a hurry, her friend Sarmishta wore Devyani's dress. Quite natural, nothing big offense. But Devyani was a very proud and Brahman's daughter, Shukracharya's daughter. And she started insulting Sarmishta. You know, you think you're a Kshatriya's daughter, and what do you think of yourself? You know, blah, blah, blah. She picked up Devyani and threw in the well. Thought, Sarmishta is Kshatriya's daughter, can't take insult too much. There's a limit. Kshatriya should not try to insult. He can't tolerate it. Brahmana, he should not get. So she got very angry, picked her up, and she was not having any clothes, naked only, threw her in the well down and walked away. Insert me like this, now you see. Now what happened was, out of providence, King Yayati passed that way. And he feels thirsty. And he, put some whatever the vessel with the rope down, as you know, the well system since ancient times. But when he looked down, he noticed there is a girl there, very beautiful and naked. And known because Shukracharya is a very big person. Or he asked introduction, he understood she is Shukracharya's daughter. And she was feeling chilly and very cold, and she said, please help me, pull me out of the well. I cannot come out of the well on my own. And I am very weak now. I have not eaten for so many days. I'm almost dying. Please save my life. Now, Yayati knows the culture of the Vedic time. He is not going to touch her. Because in Vedic time, if you touch, you have to marry. You hold a girl's hand, you have to marry her. Not like today. In office you go, you shake hand. You don't shake hand with a girl, she gets angry in the West. And this is a small thing. Kissing is also goodbye. Kissing and not married. No need. So much goes around, they still don't marry. Okay. So yeah, he threw the his turban, whatever he had to pull her out, she had no strength. She could not pull herself out. And he thought about its Lord's arrangement. I cannot allow the girl to die, and I am here, nobody's around me. So he went down and pulled her up. When she came out, Devayani said, "You have to marry me now because you touched me." That's okay. And they went to Shukracharya for his permission, and on some condition, Shukracharya gave permission. Okay, that's a big story. You read in Bhagavatam the story. So many things happen now. Now the point is, you may think very orthodox. What is this? What is the system? They should know free mixing, and then they should not touch each other. When I was in college, when I was discussing with this dean, very pious person, which sometimes I go to Manipal and meet. So he used to tell me that problem is coming that when the boys and girls go on the same bike, there is physical contact, because of which so many relationships are formed. And actually it's true. But today we do not feel society what free mixing is there, touching hand is there. In Western country, even kissing, friend, hello and goodbye is kissing. So there is a progress? No, what progress? Practically, marriage is non-existence today. The Prabhupada noticed it 50 years ago. We are noticing it today. The marriage doesn't exist. It's become a joke. And neither there is good character. Practically, prostitution is, every person is on that platform. So now if you think of you're going to construct a society, say from scratch, I give you some men, some women, definitely you'll not encourage this. Any religion in the world, marriage was instituted, and there were restrictions of mixing of men and women. In every religion, all the great reformer societies saw this need. So it's actually not an artificial thing. It's for healthy living. Fire and butter, if you bring together, butter will melt. Sometimes I meet grihasthas, I ask them, who was the butter, who was the fire? Butter melts means the person gets, and they call it love. It's not love, it's lust. Love is a very divine thing. Fall in lust and call it some big names. And you see that by understanding Srimad Bhagavatam, how much you are saved now from watching all the rubbish movies. Because they have only this. They have nothing higher to offer. They glorify the so-called lust in so much film songs. Animals are better. They don't make songs about all this. So many songs, so much literature written. All garbage. And who goes to garbage? To crows. The people who are like crows jump into the garbage and eat all this garbage. So we understand this point. So if you see the Vedic system, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, it is restriction. Brahmachari, there is no sex life. Vanaprastha, no sex life. Sannyasa, no sex life. Only in Grihastha allowed, again with restriction, just to have sex to have a child. Today, the biggest problem in the world is they are saying in all the metros around the world, population is reducing. It's a fact. Reducing, because to maintain the population, common sense, husband and wife have to give birth to two people. No? Two. You need two at least. Agree? If suppose the population has to maintain, every family should have two children. Then population will maintain. Common sense. And they have done some more calculation. There's a 2.1 for population to maintain. Common sense. But in all the metros, all the so-called developed countries in the world, it is one. Even today in India, two is Max. Correct? Children. Many people, they don't have child, they don't get. Because they take so many contraceptives and so many artificial means to suppress a child. And they want so-called carrier. And then later, it's all gone, doesn't work on me. No child. So many people no children. So 0. If some people have 1. And 2 is max. Beyond 2, very rare. Very. Tumba rare. Erudu maga saku. Mura tumba jasti. True? So that the population is reduced. So are they following Grihastha ashram? They're not following. If they're following Grihastha ashram, they'll have 100 children. They don't follow. So Prabhupada said that's called natural family plan. Natural family plan. So overall, anyway, now coming to the essence of it, overall, it is not encouraged. Because 3/4 of the ashram is not allowed. So it's not encouragement. Therefore, Narad Muni was in objection to some writings by Veda Vyasa. I said, my dear Veda Vyasa, what have you done? Jugupsidam, abominable. What did you do? Because you have encouraged. You didn't talk about pure devotion. So much karma kanda, all these things, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You encouraged so many things. But you didn't talk so much about pure devotion. Now people will think you take up your concessions and forget about restrictions. So many people will think like that. That is the concession. They don't know about restriction in society. Okay, so then it becomes difficult to practice. So to maintain purity of thought, therefore, brahmacharya is important. Grihasthas are also called grihastha brahmacharis. And brahmachari is also called brahmachari. Okay, so this was clear. There was, in Lord Chaitanya's time, there were one more instances. When Gajendra Moksha, if you read that pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Gajendra, very nice, elaborate description is there, beautiful forest is there, so many beautiful trees are there, wonderful birds are there, so many wonderful fruits are there. There is a description of the sea. And practically a chapter goes into the describing how Gajendra walks into the sea. Beautiful garden. In the heaven, not here. It's in heaven, beautiful gardens are there. And the Gajendra elephant goes to the water to drink water, and with his wives and friends, he's in a royal mood. And then what happens? And big crocodile catches its leg. And suddenly things change. That's how the life is. Today we are thinking I'm very healthy, I'm very fine. Suddenly, gone. Life and death. He's in life and death situation. And at that moment, everybody secures himself and runs. And those who are caught is caught. Isn't it true? There is a difficulty. Everybody runs to save the life. Nobody looks at other person. First, my life. Then after that, maybe my family around, I can protect. That's it. Everybody is so self-centered. So now he's stuck. Gajendra is stuck. Nobody is able to help. Not even his wives, or whatever you call them, and his friends. They're trying to pull him out. Cannot be pulled out. Crocodile, huge crocodile holding his leg. He wants to bring him to land because elephant on land is very comfortable. Then he can make chutney out of him, that crocodile, but he cannot. He's stuck in water. And crocodile is in water. And he's drinking the blood of that elephant. It's growing stronger and stronger. And elephant is reducing in power. So very nice purport Srila Prabhupada writes there, according to Brahmacharya and Grihastha life. Srila Prabhupada says, everybody should select what atmosphere is comfortable to. Our goal is to go back to Krishna. Our goal is not to become brahmachari or grihastha. That is the means. That is not the goal. So we choose whichever ashram is comfortable for us, but then follow the rules and regulations. Then you advance. Okay? So when a brahmachari follows the rules called brahmachari, otherwise called mithyachari, hypocrite. And similarly, grihastha is called grihamaiti if he's not following the rules. Because his focus is not spiritual development. It's all mixed up. So very nice purpose, proper, right? So for elephant, the land is comfortable. For the crocodile, water is comfortable. So similarly, for somebody, the grihastha ashram is comfortable. For somebody, brahmachari ashram is comfortable. Another instance comes from Chaitanya Charitamrita for this, where there is a devotee called Chota Haridas. He is a sannyasi. He had a very sweet voice. He used to sing for Lord Chaitanya. Very sweet voice. Not the film songs like people do nowadays. He used to sing with his sweet voice. All the bhajans, and Chaitanya would really love him to sing. Very sweet. One of the singers for Lord Chaitanya. Kirtaniya. And Lord Chaitanya is very dear to Lord Chaitanya and the sannyasi. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking prasadam at some place. And he says, who brought this beautiful rice? Because, in the coastal area like Mangalore or even in Bengal, they eat boiled rice. That's common public, the habit is even here. They eat at home boiled rice. But we do not offer to the Lord boiled rice. We offer white rice. White rice is better. May not be polished like today, but whatever it is not boiled rice. Boiled rice is already cooked in the field. It is apavitra, cannot be offered to the Lord. Nobody offers it, except in the Buddha temple. In Mangalore also, you don't get boiled rice. You always get white rice. So then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked who brought this rice, he said, Chota Haridas Thakur. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Antaryami, knows everything. He said, can you tell Chota Haridas Thakur? I said, what? Tell him he should not see me anymore. But that was like a thunderbolt to Chota Hari. He used to love Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he heard that, he did not eat for a few days. And then the devotees said, see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is strict. Now, if you make tamasha like this, he'll become more strict. So better eat. They made him eat, the other disciples, Nityananda Prabhu, other devotees. And from few miles, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to take darshan of Jagannatha temple, he used to pay obeisance to him. And then situation came that 1 year happened. Lord Chaitanya did not give him up. From 6 months to 1 year, he waited. Then he went to Triveni. Triveni, is Haridwar, and committed suicide. He thought his life is worthless, rejected by the Lord. And somebody noticed that and informed the devotees of Bengal. He went to Bengal, informed them. When they came to Jagannath Puri, or those devotees came to Jagannath Puri for Rath Yatra, they knew about. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, Antarayana knows it. He said, you can bring Chota Haridas now in my assembly. The devotee sadly said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he committed suicide because you never saw him. Yes! Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, that is the only prayashita for a sannyasi. Staring at a woman with the plan of enjoyment. There is no other reformation. Just imagine. Strictness means look at the strictness. And true, Chota Haridas, Chaitanya Charitamrita continues. Used to every day took a form of a Gandharva. And he used to sing again for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go for taking bath, at that time devotees thought the ghost of Chota Haridas has come because they could hear his singing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to, in the sea, pleasantly enjoy his. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually made a pastime of his own devotee and shows how strict we have to be. If he would have said, okay, chalta hai, then what would have become of his movement? So one side, therefore any great personality is softer than rose and harder than stone. There was Srila Prabhupada's movement. There was one personality who was quite senior, and he said, Srila Prabhupada is God himself. And Prabhupada came to know that he spoke this nonsense. He threw him out of the movement. He became so angry, presenting such nonsense that a And Jiva is God. It was furious, fire. And same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see Shivananda Sena came to him with his child. He is a grahastha, had sex and produced a child. Chota Haridas Thakur just looked at a woman with a desire and enjoyment. Is somebody not look at as sex itself and produce a child? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed him, gave him so much mercy to the child and the family. And here Chota Haridas Thakur rejected him. Why? Because he was hypocrite. So now you have to balance all these instructions. On one side, we should not be hypocrite. Other side, we should be sincerely trying. There are so many letters of Srila Prabhupada when devotees wrote to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, why don't you take shelter of the holy name sincerely? And come out of this. Take shelter of the holy name. Incessantly chant the holy name. That's what the instruction Srila Prabhupada gave. So devotees should sincerely try. Come on, that's a desire. Because so much time is more available. A brahmachari is able to serve whole day. So much opportunity is there. But if you cannot do, instead of staying artificially as a mithyachari, better become an honest grahastha. But then we should know the responsibility of grahastha. Not that I just become grahastha to just enjoy. That's not it. There's a lot of responsibility. Moment become grahastha, now you have to think about children problem, wife problem. I asked one colleague, he was a nice brahmachari, later became grahastha. So I asked him, how did you feel the first day when you changed your dress? We changed the dress to white and then he got married. He said, suddenly my existential anxiety started. How I'm going to maintain myself? What about the finance and account? The fear, what if I die? Who will take care of my wife? So many anxieties started in my life, new. And as a brahmachari, I was just free bird. And no anxiety, how will I maintain myself? Now I'm a grahastha, I have to have a house, I have to maintain the house, I have to take care of my children as I grow up. So there is definite lot of advantage. But then it should not be artificial. So now you have to balance all this. Like Krishna is gone, we'll go to Vrindavan. I think all of you know the trip has been planned now. The 3rd week of March, the Monday we are landing up. 3rd week, something like 21st. And 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, we will be having Yatra. And 26th Saturday, we are flying all train or fly, whatever you take. So 21st Monday will happen. So there is a Vrindavan Parikrama if you do. I wish all of us together never did like that. Together go for Parikrama, doing Kirtan. It'll be very nice. Yes. So then on the way, there's a place, very beginning it comes. That's called Madana Ter. So what is this Madan? In fact, there is one temple also called Madana Mohan. So that's our Sambandha Jnana, our relationship with Krishna. Madana means sex life. And Madana Mohan, Krishna is so wonderful and beautiful that even Cupid, Madana also means Cupid. Even Cupid get attracted to Krishna. That means your sex desire vanishes. A person is attracted to the beauty of Krishna, to the sweet narration of Krishna's pastimes, to the sweetness of the Lord's holy name, loses attraction for sex desire. Param drishtva nivartate vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarja rasopi asya param drishtva nivartate. If you get a higher taste, you can easily give up lower taste. Okay. So Madanate. So though you take chanting of the Lord's holy name, read about it. Particularly, it is said that if somebody reads Krishna's pastime with the gopis, his sex desire will vanish. Really, yes. But you have to hear from a devotee, not from some Mayavadi or an atheist. Because that is an exhibition of pure love. There is not even a trace of lust in it. Pure love. I give an example, like we wear some artificial jewelry and we get impressed some people around us. But when somebody comes to the real jewelry, then our artificial jewelry we feel like throwing. Otherwise, why people buy real jewelry? It has its own luster and So same way, we are thinking our lust, so-called lust, is love. Actually, there is no love in this world, there's only lust. But when a pure devotee comes and we see the real love, then our so-called love is useless. That Prabhupada gives so much love and affection, the devotee could understand they never had an experience like this in their life. He carries the compassion, the mercy of the Lord Krishna. Samsara Dhamana Lidaloka Taradaya Karunya Ghana Ghana, showing unlimited mercy of Krishna in this world. So when we hear of the loving dealings of Krishna with the gopis, that is pure love. Our so-called attraction in the world looks pale like lust. Like iron and gold, both are metal, but there is so much difference. Bhagavatam says gold is not iron, it's different. So it looks like that. It's also a piece of metal, but it's gold. So in this world, the lust looks like love. Many times I try to pull out young boys out of the silly relationships so that they can focus on their life and become serious in spiritual life. They say, no, sir, in my case, it is love only. So it's Maya cheats so nicely. Actually, person doesn't understand. It's not love, it's lust. So pure love, when you see, you forget the lust of this world. So there's another way to come out of the lust is to hear about Krishna's Leela. Because whole Krishna Leela is pure love. And intense of that is Madhurya Leela of Krishna, which is purest of the purest of the love. Madhurya Bhava, highest love. So by reading Krishna Leela, if you can do that, you get so much full of pure love that so-called love in this world does not attract you. Madana, that's called Madanate. So when Cupid came to entice Krishna, Krishna with his pastimes, he could not. Krishna's heart cannot be touched. Rather, seeing the beautiful pastimes of Radha Krishna with the gopis, Radha Krishna with the gopis, he fainted there. That's called Madanate. So I hope we will see that. So that is one way we can come out of Madana. So whole spiritual advancement is for any ashrama. How much you are free from sex desire, by that you can know how much you are advancing in spiritual life. Okay? And what we should do? Chant very attentively. And you work on your chanting so that at least till next day when you pick up your rounds, your mind is kept in Sataguna. There is no harassment by sex desire. And that's what I can tell from my experience. Increase the quality of chanting and to take care of it. Okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Somebody was very
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Committing
Dandavat
suicide,
pranam.
possible and forgiven by Lord Krishna, and is it the right mode to commit suicide?
Hare Krishna,
How is it
Prabhuji.
viewed by the teachers of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji? This
not for you.
committing suicide,
Not
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
See, try to understand.
Uh,
The situation was very different. A sannyasi gets the highest respect. He's worshipped. Today it's a different situation. A sannyasi in the Vedic time goes to a village, even king will get up and worship him. True? And the city, when he walks, there will be holiday in the town because sannyasi reaches. They were very, very pure sannyasis. It was great because we had sannyasis. So pure. Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, you are so pure. Worship people by their character, worship people by their purity. For him to do such a, see, when you take respect, you should be ready for the punishment also. Correct? This kind of respect you're taking worship. Imagine, so it is said, a small spot in the dress of a sannyasi, it looks so big, everybody can notice. So they were supposed to maintain very high degree of character. And moment they indulge in something obnoxious, they are waste for the society. There's no way to go now. It's all gone. There's nobody listen to him. What utility he has for the society. So they're not teachers of Gita, it's the Vedic regulation. Sannyasi should commit suicide if he does such kind of activities as a prayashita, as a as a voluntarily suffering, but not in Kali Yuga. In fact, Srila Prabhupada came across this kind of situations, and Prabhupada never recommended. No, he said, this is how degraded the situation in Kali Yuga is. Prabhupada did not enforce that. But previous times, Vedic times, where people were living very high level of purity, he has no face. People are worshipping him. Just imagine. Constant arati is happening anyway. And at the same time, he is cheating public by maintaining secret relationship, or it comes out. It was considered horrible. It is called Vandasi, eating one's own vomit. It is considered, that is a condition of a sannyasi if he indulges. Not for today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
तुम्हारे लिए बेस्ट आदमी का तलाश था.
Different time, different situations, different society. Okay, Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat